You are totally the biggest mark.
And I have half the brains that you do.
Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell.
And all these people are a bunch of stinking bums, aren't you?
Reigning United States heavyweight champion Bret Hitman Clark.
Welcome back, fans, to the Lex Nitro Party Podcast. Tonight we're going to be reviewing the Nitro from September 25th, 1995 from the Florence Civic Center in Florence, South Carolina, where there were 5,000 happy fans, but only 2,000 of them paid. How's that work, Clay?
Well, a lot of times, unfortunately, the wrestling business was sort of struggling at this time. So what they do is obviously you promote your event, and it looks really bad for your product if there's a bunch of empty seats out there. So WCW is notorious for just handing out free tickets, and I kind of wish I would have known that as a young lad. If you go just stand outside, a random Thunder, you probably get in for free.
I have a question. At this time, were they recording everything else at Universal Studios still?
I believe Saturday Night and Worldwide were both still at Universal. Not sure.
I guess they would have been touring house shows.
Right.
And then Nitro.
One thing, we've got Grant back on the podcast this week. He's been out for a couple weeks. He got his technical issues fixed, and he's back with us.
There was a Moppy-related incident, actually.
What?
Moppy. So I'm back.
Oh, like Perry Saturn?
Yeah, that Moppy.
With the mop? Yeah.
I'm good now, though.
Oh, nice.
All right, so without any further ado, remember, for you out there watching the network, you're going to play the episode from September 25th, 1995. There's going to be an ad of some sort, and then it'll kick in to the episode. So when we tell you to press play, just sync it up with the podcast, and you'll be good to go. All right? So, when I say play, go ahead and click that mouse. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
And we're off.
And we are going.
The new intro.
Yep, we should have Luger in the intro now.
There he is.
Luger has placed Vader in the opening.
Who was the slamming there?
It looked like somebody with like
English
like
type.
Squire Dave Taylor or somebody like that. Steven Regal, maybe.
Something.
I don't know.
I just watched a video earlier of Steven Regal getting punched in the face for real by Fit Finlay.
Ooh.
right in
how
the nose.
long ago was this?
Fit Finlay had long hair.
So he was like a Belfast brawler.
Probably,
that gimmick was.
That would be a good for real fight.
Oh, yeah.
This poor animal. Where's PETA when you need him?
If PETA was as active as they are now, then that dog, the show probably would have been shut down because of that.
Mongo is the only announcer that I can remember that was ever so bad that he needs props.
Yep. It's like there's Bischoff, the color commentator. There's Heenan, the heel. And then there's Mongo, the idiot.
I'm just ready for that dog to take a big meaty chud right on the announce desk.
Yeah, no, he's like the carrot top of the commentating world.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible. And actually, as we'll see here in coming years, look at the Pyro guys back.
Were they just doggy style?
They look like they dove down there like, hey, dummy, you're on camera, get out of there. So first match of the night, we've got Alex Wright, Das Wunderkind, versus the debut on Nitro of the Disco Inferno.
Mustaches.
No, I was excited to see Alex Wright when I watched this earlier. This guy's entertaining, man.
Yeah, and
he's got some skills in the ring.
Yeah, he's definitely
played with this horrible gimmick. Especially the Berlin gimmick.
For the mid-'90s, the gimmick that he's got now isn't so bad. It could have been a lot worse.
True, he could have been, the Red Rooster or something.
Or the Yeti.
Which is actually
that's coming up. We're gonna have that here in a couple weeks, so look out.
I don't think I watched much Nitro, but like after Halloween Havoc '95, like ever. So it's going to be kind of interesting.
That's
to
kind
see
of a dead spot. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we would have been 10 or 11 at this time. I was not watching wrestling at this time. So
my grandpa always did, so I almost, at least every other week, saw WCW Saturday night.
You catch some of it.
And so, yeah, you kind of catch up on it there. It was also kind of interesting because that was my early exposure to wrestling, and because of cable with Turner, I was never like a huge Hogan fan. It was never a Hogan family. We were always Sting and Flair fans. So.
Oh yeah.
So we've got Glenn Gilberti, the Disco Inferno here. We're gonna do something a little different. Every week, couple weeks maybe, we're gonna pick a wrestler and kind of maybe just run down his career a little bit. We're not going to be doing this with Hogan and Savage and people that you may know, because everybody knows their background. We're going to be picking the mid-carders, maybe guys you haven't really seen that much, and just give you a little background on them. So, Glenn Gilberti, born November 12th, 1967, started in wrestling in 1991 on the Georgia independent scene, so probably has a lot to do with him getting picked up by WCW, is that he's around the area. He actually had a short stint in the WWF in '92 as an enhancement talent or a jobber. He also had a short stint with Jerry Lawler's USWA out of Memphis. He's going to become a one-time WCW Cruiserweight champ. Nice plancha from the to the outside by right there. Disco's going to be a one-time Cruiserweight champ for WCW, a one-time World Tag Team champ with WCW, with Alex Wright as the, what was their tag team?
The Dancing Fools? The
Dancing Fools.
Dancing Idiots, as Heenan called them.
Yeah. And he's also a two-time World TV champ. So, had a short stint as a road agent in TNA in the late 2000s as well. So this guy was really a company guy. We'll see from here until the end of the company, Disco was always around. So,
like, he was never like off either. Like,
yep,
he was
always there.
Nearly every damn Nitro.
Yeah.
Or Thunder even.
And the guy can work. I watching this match earlier. Just kind of remember him from his later days as being a lot more of a personality than a wrestler. But the guy's not bad.
Oh, he's not bad at all.
Something we just saw there, and Disco just threw a left-handed clothesline. That is something, I'm sure there's a reason why you don't see that with coordinating moves and working matches.
I'm sure when everybody trains, they train to get clotheslined from the right hand.
But and there's another short arm clothesline on the left side by Disco, so I just found that kind of interesting, something you don't see that often.
I wonder if he's left-handed.
That very well could
that may be the only reason why.
Yeah. No, and that was kind of the other thing that I really, kind of thought about watching this episode. Two things. Number one, kind of odd. WCW has seemingly a huge obsession with guys going to the outside like a million times during a match.
Right.
Number two, one of the reasons I was, especially later, always a WCW guy, and you're kind of seeing it with this match, is that, Nitro oftentimes would start off, a little bit of a recap from last week, but then jump right into a match, usually, lower to mid-card guys like this who could just wrestle their asses off. Always just kind of something that I appreciated.
Well, now if you watch any wrestling, every episode of any wrestling show starts out with a 45-minute promo by somebody.
Involving a McMahon.
Right.
Well, luckily he's got a lot to choose from.
Disco's selling that hair pretty good. This guy, he bought into this gimmick. Say what you will.
Yeah.
He lived it.
What was his gimmick in those, like USWA? Did he have a gimmick?
I think he was just a job guy.
Random Italian fellow.
Yeah.
So we see Alex Wright getting the 3 with reversing a swinging neck breaker into a backslide and counting the 3. So Disco loses his Nitro debut, which doesn't come as a real surprise. Disco is sort of a jobber that maybe got himself over more than people thought he would.
I think it was, no one ever admitted that Disco was over, but everyone always talked about Disco Inferno, like, to the end.
He's a good
Like, he was over, but nobody would admit that he was over.
Right. He's a good comedy heel. I mean, good opening match guy.
Yeah.
He's responsible for the NWO Wild feud in 99.
That is, I am excited for that. I know it'll be a while before we're there, but, oh, man.
So, something we saw in this match, Alex Wright hits a drop kick on Disco when he's on the top turnbuckle. Why is it these guys are, you know...
Oh, wait.
Oh,
this is hilarious. Putting no weight on it whatsoever. Anyways, finish your thought.
Oh, man. We'll come back to that. Or maybe we won't.
But this needs addressed.
This is bad.
This promo from Hogan. Remember, kids, wrestle with neck injuries.
Does he, like, his skin looks horrible. Like, is it rubber? Like, look at the rolls around his, like, pecs.
Well,
he looks like he's
been
wearing a bodysuit.
in his early 40s at this time, and he spent a lot of time in a tanning bed, and that ain't good for you.
For those of you that like to, smoke your turkey, you get the smoker out around Thanksgiving for that. If the skin gets to this point, you've done something wrong. That's my tip. Why is he wearing? I don't know if you've got a neck injury. Why do you put all the stuff on? Like, wouldn't you just?
Yeah.
Well, because he's immortal. Like he's literally a demigod. He will.
Well, you wouldn't think you'd be able to get a neck injury like that. I never heard of Zeus going around or Hercules with a neck injury.
Like Zeus and Hercules, the wrestlers, or the actual gods.
I meant of Greek mythology, but
not Debo from Friday.
No.
Okay.
They use this background set, quite a bit, no matter where they're at. So they put no thought into, the fact that every single arena in the world has the exact same locker room with the exact same concrete block walls.
I'd never really put a lot of thought into it, but you've ruined that for me.
Oh, God. It'll never be the same.
So in this promo, Hogan says he hasn't missed a workout, yada, yada, yada. He's in a neck brace. He's just had his neck torqued severely by the Giant at least a couple times already. His necklace.
Jimmy Hart's
did you see his necklace get stuck on the brace? And then Hart was trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
So remember, kids, little Hulkamaniacs, neck injuries ain't shit. You'll be fine. Just go out and wrestle and work out, and you ain't gonna get hurt.
That's not a real person,
Wow.
And I should have got some Slim Jims.
I was going to say, we need to make sure from now on we're eating a Slim Jim, and every time that we see a commercial, we snap.
Also in that Hogan promo is where he challenges the Giant to his monster truck challenge that we'll see at Halloween Havoc.
As retribution for running over his motorcycle last week.
Right. It's one of the biggest wastes of time in pay-per-view history.
It's even as a kid, I remember thinking, man, this isn't right.
Yeah. I remember renting it from BNC, Halloween Havoc 95, and I wanted my money back by $2 that it cost for renting a video.
So we get a recap of Luger and Savage promos from last week. We'll get to see Randy. Go ahead.
Luger talking is just unnecessary, and showing it again is even more unnecessary. I don't know.
No, we get to see Savage about break his ankle in his cowboy boots because he tries doing his normal stuff, but he forgets he's wearing cowboy boots and about falls over.
Luger has given the exact same interview in the ring since the first episode of Nitro. It's, I came here to play with the big boys. Yada, yada, yada. I have a big old fluffy white shirt that I never change.
I have a puffy shirt tucked into black Guess jeans and no belt.
I don't know if anyone ever asked Savage this in a real interview, but man, there's no way he can see out of those.
I don't know how he gets to the ring, honestly.
I mean, I guess there's a little space in between, but man.
Well, didn't you ever get some of those glasses when you were a kid? I used to have a pair of glasses that were like Pepsi Generation, and it said Pepsi on one eye and Generation on the other, and you can't see from the outside in, but you can see through the outside. It's the way, there's tiny little holes.
Oh, really?
It's like a mesh bag, almost like you're looking through a mesh bag.
That might be the deal.
It's got to be.
So we've got Randy Savage in the ring with Mean Gene. He's coming right for us.
It's a little unnerving. Like, it looks like he should be wearing pants.
Yeah, why are you in full wrestling gear? I mean, he does wrestle at the end of this. But
Right.
That's like an hour from now.
Yeah, no, it's just like spending the night at your buddy's house and his dad just comes out in his underwear to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, an hour before bedtime. He's in his underwear.
Just like purple briefs.
And to give you a speech that sounds a lot like this, really.
Yeah.
If you can pin me, I'll retire from my job. Get down here, boy, and pin me.
Son, if you don't go to bed.
Oh, I can't wait till my son gets old enough that I can do that to him.
Yeah. Every night, if you can pin me, you don't have to go to bed right now.
Isn't that on Seinfeld with Festivus?
Yeah, that's
With George's dad. Festivus isn't over until you pin me.
Yep, exactly.
So this promo is setting up a match for next week in which if Luger loses to Randy Savage, he will leave WCW. Wonder how that's going to turn out.
Do contracts work that way? Can I just call my cable provider and tell them, hey, I want out of my contract, so how about we wrestle, and if you lose, I go to someone else?
Luger has to pay a cancellation fee if he loses.
I said that makes sense. That makes sense. It's hard to not get fixated on the crowd in some of these.
I know.
We get a wide variety of mid-'90s. I mean, mid-'90s wrestling fans.
Look at
that
bowl cut to the left of Savage's shoulder.
That's me. Like, I had that shirt.
That's what you looked like in '95.
I had that haircut and that shirt, and I'm not even joking.
It appears like he's got a bumper sticker slapped across his chest.
That I may have done as well.
Yeah.
So Luger refuses to shake Savage's hand.
That's the worst kind of heel. He just doesn't have a lot of manners. Like, is that I'm supposed to hate him?
He's just kind of rude.
Yeah.
Here we go. Set up for the best pay-per-view ever.
Call your local cable provider.
I always
Halloween Havoc and be disappointed.
I always wanted to do what they said, like just call up and be like, "Oh, call your cable provider and tell them you want to be part of the biggest thing ever." Like, I just wanted to call and tell the lady on the other end that.
Oh man!
Literally.
Yeah, just say those words and then hang up.
Like,
what did a pay-per-view cost at this time? Does anyone know?
That's a hell of a question.
I would
we'll have
say
to
between
look
whenever back when we bought them in like
probably 25 to 30.
In 97, 98 when we bought them, they were 30.
Yeah.
So
say $20 to $30.
And I'd like to point out, I'll look, but I'm sure because I know they mentioned Bigfoot. Both of the monster trucks, I believe, are just alternate Bigfoot trucks with stickers put on them.
They just slap a little different body.
Yeah, because they look like they're both. I think Bigfoot was an F-250 maybe, and that's what they both look like.
Did Turner own the whatever it was called at that point, the Monster Truck Federation or whatever?
Well,
they always had that Monster Truck Madness show or whatever it was called,
which was on TNN. Which was, I believe, owned by Turner. And so I'm sure that would have been part of it. Yeah, Rhodes announced a few times on that.
Yeah.
Monster Truck Madness.
Medusa was on it too a lot.
Yeah. There were a bunch of WCW in the end days. There was a Sting truck, the Goldberg truck, which was
Goldberg had a truck.
Yeah, and there was the Giant truck.
Yeah, Tom Mintz was the driver. Goldberg's still a big name. He was the guy that just pressed Gravedigger every week. And then Medusa, that truck won a couple times. She drove it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then WCW had the NASCAR, which gave us the greatest tag team of all time, the Pit Crew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were just jobbers on
WCW worldwide
Saturday
jobbers.
Night.
Yeah.
They'd come out and get squashed by Harlem Heat every couple weeks.
So what do we got here?
Here we got little junkyard dog-esque headbutt from Sergeant Craig Pittman. So we've got Kurosawa versus Sergeant Craig Pittman. Kurosawa, kayfabe-wise, is credited at, I believe, Clash of the Champions a few weeks before Nitro started in kayfabe breaking Road Warrior Hawk's arm. They mentioned that here. They're presenting him as a submission specialist type wrestler from Japan. Kurosawa is Manabu Nakanishi, who is a former Olympian and is still currently employed by New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we'll see this a lot where they have a talent deal with New Japan. We saw Jushin Liger a couple weeks ago. So we'll see a lot of Japanese talent in these opening matches here coming up.
The biggest wrestling event ever was New Japan versus WCW in Korea. Flair versus Antonio Inoki.
Was that the one in North Korea?
North Korea.
That Flair went to and didn't know if he'd come back alive?
That was the biggest wrestling event ever, attendance-wise.
So this is a holy shit moment right here. Kurosawa hits a vertebreaker on the concrete.
On the microphone.
On the microphone.
Almost on the microphone.
Just probably shattered his coccyx.
Yeah.
That's right, I said coccyx.
Pittman's like, wait a second, we didn't play on this one.
Yeah,
There's no way that could have been.
That's pretty awesome
done
right there.
I thought this was kind of an odd matchup.
Yeah, they didn't have the greatest chemistry. I mean, I do like the ending of the match in a way that makes it seem very real.
Him and Luger actually have the same trunks. Whenever Luger went back, he took them off.
Swapped.
Yeah.
They swapped.
Yeah.
Just the old black trunks, black boots.
No, I don't know. I don't know if Pittman is the best at selling it. I don't know. I think he's just a little lacking, a little bit too much of a big man.
Yeah. Kurosawa's gimmick here is that he's constantly working the arm. He's sort of being touted as the master of the arm bar. Like I said, broke Road Warrior Hawk's arm a couple weeks back.
Did Pittman ever go on to do anything else after this?
I think did he help run the power plant?
I think you're right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I want to say he was a trainer after his in-ring days were done.
Man, I don't know how stiff he is, but so far this match looks like it's been a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Japan, it's just a whole different world over there.
Yeah.
They don't mess around.
Again.
Another hit. I love the JYD headbutts. I mean, it's just a way to give yourself a neck injury. But
and again, here we are, second time in the match, outside.
Right.
That's a real good point. They do end up out there quite a bit.
Like to, I guess, point out the old style guardrail that the WW now E left. They went to the more effective barricade, but it's
the solid black.
Yeah, a lot less fun in my opinion. Although I guess as a fan, there's a pretty good chance you get ran over with these.
Yeah, when the metal guardrail rockets into your shins when you're sitting front row, you're not going to be real happy with it.
Yeah, that's a lawsuit.
A nice belly to belly from Pittman. Cross arm breaker. Remember, it's not an arm bar, it's a cross arm breaker.
That's right.
Kurosawa gets to the ropes. At what time did WCW get rid of the rule where you can't throw somebody off the top rope? Because that was still in effect at this time.
I don't know that it ever went away. It just didn't get addressed anymore.
No. I think it did officially go away, and right now there's someone who's a bigger nerd than us screaming at us for not knowing this. But I want to say that's an NWO era rule that maybe the outsiders used to toss guys over to get DQ'd so they wouldn't lose the belt when it was the Wolfpack was 6.
I remember that being a rule like in the early 90s WCW.
I think when we get to NWO era, I believe that they suspend that rule to keep the outsiders from cheating out of losing the belts.
I see.
It's possible.
So the finish to this match, Kurosawa hits a German suplex, which he gets a 3 count on. Pittman does a good job of selling that he knows he can't kick out, but he tries to scoot his way towards the ropes, but he's about a second too late. I liked that. To me, that's good psychology.
Yeah.
And trying to make it seem like a real sport.
Yeah, no, that's
get another look at this vertebrae. Sweet Jesus.
Maybe we should try to get Mr. Pittman on the podcast sometime.
I have to look and see what he's up
who
to
his agent
nowadays.
is. Pay him $50 or something.
He's one of those guys that was just always around, good company guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could really work a match with darn near anybody.
Kevin Sullivan.
Why is Kevin Sullivan looks like he's cross-eyed in that stock picture?
Yeah, well, luckily we don't have to wait for it.
So we've got AA Arn Anderson and Flying Brian Pillman in the ring with me and Gene Okerlund to cut a promo. What do y'all think's in Pillman's fanny pack there?
Drugs.
They're called gimmicks. What was the drug of choice for Nash and Hall? What were those things called? You know what I'm talking about?
Not really. I'm sure I do, but I just don't
like
know.
somas?
Yeah.
Oh, Soma. Yeah, they're like the pills.
And it just turns you into a slobbering idiot.
Yeah. Aren't they... oh, gosh. They're supposed to, like, help you sleep or something.
Right.
But if you take them with alcohol, it just makes you just nuts.
Right.
Like, you're slobbering, but you're, like, buzzed. It's like, well, very inebriated, more than buzzed.
So Pillman cuts a shouty promo. I'm waiting for this to get to AA because he's just one of the best.
I think Pillman, if he hadn't have died, he'd probably have been huge. He was on his way there, I think.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of talent, a lot of ability there.
Mm. Think of like the angles him and like Steve Austin could have done, like in the early 2000s.
Where do I get a pair of Arn Anderson? You get those at LensCrafter?
I think you get them at the antique store.
Man,
just the old wire frames.
Yeah. Well, they're like non-tinted aviators.
Are there actually lenses in there? Like
there may not be lenses.
Those are some clean lenses if there's some lenses in there.
Why would you wear those if you didn't have to?
So AA, this is leading up to a tag match at Halloween Havoc between AA and Flying Brian versus Ric Flair and a partner yet to be decided on. And AA does a really good job in this promo of talking about how they had their singles match at Fall Brawl. Flair couldn't beat him. Now he wants to have a tag match, and AA does a good job of playing that tag matches are his realm because he's one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. You think about, the Brainbusters with him and Tully Blanchard and the other teams with the Horsemen. Just a great tag team worker. And he really plays off how Flair has alienated everybody in the business because he always had Arn to back him up when they were in the Horsemen. I thought that was a really clever way. It's not a long promo by any means, but it really gets across. Flair's made his bed, now he's got to lie in it because he's pissed off everybody in the business with his attitude.
Man.
We just talked over some entertaining people. Yeah. Picture being showed there.
Yeah, who do we have there?
There's Sting and Johnny B. Bad, and then the Giant and Kevin Sullivan.
But with the Giant Kevin Sullivan, they didn't adjust Kevin Sullivan's height, so it's just his head.
Yeah. Because Kevin Sullivan's only like, 5'5" or something?
He's taller than that, but we get a recap. We get to see this again from last week.
Did you guys, or I guess, Grant, you didn't, we're around to talk about it, but did you ever look this up, Clay? The actual episode of Baywatch?
No, I didn't. I had blocked this from my mind already.
It's horribly amazing.
Sand in the eye.
Yeah, they'll get you every time. I just love Flair coming in at the end here and they didn't show it.
In 95, I remember watching Baywatch in my bedroom at like 11 o'clock at night because it was on after MASH.
Furiously masturbating.
It was Letterman, then like MASH, and then Baywatch was on, like reruns when it was syndicated.
I like Taskmaster's music here. It fits him. It's very menacing.
The only thing I like about it.
Yeah. That's about it.
Man.
some schmo puts his hand in front of the camera.
You can just tell like he's fed up at this point because he's an old school territory guy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think he's just kind of disgruntled. Like he knew things were changing and he didn't like it. He's trying to change with the times, but he kind of fizzles out after this.
Yeah, he really has more of a backstage role after this Taskmaster gimmick.
I mean, he was there to the end, but not on camera for years.
Right. I really like the old Nitro set. I just like that.
It's simple, but, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you prefer this version of Pomp and Circumstance or his original WWF Pomp and Circumstance?
This one. I've always preferred this one.
You like the electric guitar?
I like the guitar.
It is a little bit crazier, although, and just to point out a small gimmick difference, when I think of the old one, I always think of him as the Macho King. And I feel that that's more fitting because it's more regal.
Right. That music does make more sense with that gimmick, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Good mustache.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's I don't know, it's a little different because it's only an hour show, but it's weird, I guess, because it's an hour show, you know, we've seen some kind of top guys not in the main event.
Are you laughing at Ed Leslie's hair?
He only says yes and no.
Yeah, that's his thing. He looks like Alfalfa from The Little Rascals.
Only gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So things get started off. Savage is chasing Taskmaster around the ring. So this one's, once again, outside pretty early.
Immediately. Has the bell even rang yet?
Yes, they did ring the bell once he jumped outside.
So, is it not a DQ if you're attacked outside of the ring during the match?
Well, the ref was distracted. We really couldn't see that. It looked like Sullivan had the ref's attention. I will point out that Zodiac is wearing leftover Brutus Beefcake trunks.
Yes. Kevin Sullivan around this time, maybe switching to the singlet might have been the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, his body's not the greatest.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that you can't work, but there's just no reason to show it off.
Careful not to drop Savage on his crotch on the guardrail there. Sullivan's taking care of him. I think that clothesline from Zodiac might have been a little stiff. Savage's lip appears to be bleeding. Knowing Savage, he just did it himself for effect.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Just bit a chunk out of his lip.
I know I've said this before, but he does such a good job of selling it. It's probably worth saying every week. The fact that his gimmick is that he's just a lunatic.
Yeah, he's just crazy.
It's not really a gimmick, though.
I really like. It's one of the few things I liked about WCW in the later days. Like towards the end of Savage's run, when he had the valet, and he was wearing his hair slicked back in a ponytail.
Yeah.
And he was wearing, he was Macho Madness.
Yeah.
Like he was, and like that famous piece of video where he slaps Tori Wilson. Like he's nuts.
Yeah.
When does Miss Elizabeth come back? Was that like not till NWO days?
She comes back with Flair, I think, in the around '96 because him and Savage are feuding, and Flair brings her out or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how they reintroduce her.
Outside again.
Yeah, this has been the majority outside.
Yeah, those guys are into it.
Yeah, they are. I really like the announce booth being all the way back by the entryway. Kind of get a shot of it there. I don't know. I don't know that it necessarily matters, but I always kind of preferred that.
I did too.
I think if nothing else, because there's no tendency to watch what's in the ring. You watch what's on your monitor if you're not close enough to the ring to see it. So what's getting called is I think, more like what you're seeing on TV.
Right.
So Savage twists off and throws Randy Anderson to the ground, giving the Taskmaster a DQ win. So he's got
and he does not care.
He's got Zodiac and got him stacked up for the elbow drop.
There was no point in that, like,
right.
angle-wise.
He's
like,
just getting his move over. People want to see the elbow drop.
I'm just saying, like, Sullivan didn't have to move.
Can we splice in the Big Show's music right here when he comes out? Just, well...
He was so much more, like...
He's an athletic guy at this time.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
he's right out of college basketball.
I love his choke slam at this point. Like,
yeah.
it is this is the best looking choke slam before or since. I mean, he rides him all the way down with it. I mean, that's a strong looking move. I'm sure I wouldn't want to take it, but it looks good.
No, he was. He was super athletic. Just has wrestled injured for so long at this point.
We got random jobbers coming out.
Who's this guy?
I think they say his name is Frankie Lancaster, so he's just a job guy. Okay, they're saying this is Mark Starr, another job guy.
They shop at the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, exact same trunks. Good job not choke slamming him on top of Savage.
He killed him. He's dead. That's why we never see him again.
Yeah.
So we got Alex Wright back out here now, so not quite a jobber. He's going to dive into a bear hug.
Sure what he's doing
and about
there.
gets thrown right on top of the ref. They're really getting the Giant over as this unstoppable monster. You know, have him choke slam Savage, have him choke slam, you know, all these jobbers, and then, of course, we get Luger.
Luger out again, like the angry father. Who drank my beer?
We before, when Alex Wright comes out, the fans kind of mark out for Alex Wright. You can hear Bischoff start to announce Luger and go, and it's it's Alex Wright. So he missed his cue on that.
So fans were expecting him to attack Savage because he's kind of like done something in Fall Brawl, right?
Right. They're trying to play Luger as sort of this shifty tweener type
He's basically
character.
Sting from early '98.
Right. They don't know where his loyalties lie. So basically the point of this spot was to get over the Giant as an unstoppable monster. Everybody eats choke slams.
And the way you follow up with that is by putting him in a monster truck.
Is this the...
I love the stock picture of Luger from 1991 that they just throwed up there.
You're right, yeah. And then Ming.
Ming in his pig face helmet.
Oh, God.
Who knew Hogan was a transformer?
Yeah.
Just turns into a monster truck.
He's everything else.
And back again.
In that schmoz ending to that last match with Savage and Taskmaster, I don't know why I think this is so funny. The incessant, constant bell ringing, like the timekeeper thinks he can stop what they're doing by just constantly ringing the bell.
It's the school bus driver just yelling at you. Knock it off.
That's still how it is today. Like, they still consider that bell, like, if this bell rings, everyone stop. And
right.
No one has since, like, 1984.
So this is our main event. We've got, this is clever here. They've got Luger already injured in the ring from eating a choke slam from the Giant. And he's supposed to face Ming in the main event. So Ming just runs out and jumps on him. That's smart.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a smart heel.
They actually wanted to cancel the match, but, you know, Ming wouldn't allow that, so he ran out and he's beating Luger up real right now.
I wouldn't put it past him. He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone better to put out there to just flail at someone and ragdoll them. Yeah.
Do we know why there are, if you get a chance, look at the back of Ming's trunks. Do we know why there is what appears to be lady parts on the back of his trunks?
What?
You'll see what I'm seeing here in a second. I saw it earlier. Oh, dang it. Camera cut away.
Well, now I'm just
They won't show it
focused on
again.
that.
That's all I'm looking at now. I never wanted to see Ming's ass so bad.
Phrasing.
Man, Luger just taking it. You know Ming's stiff.
Yeah. Ming has one of the best jumping pile drivers in the business. This looks really good. But he's safe with it.
Yeah.
Enough to where he can get away with doing it, guys. Because that can be a real dangerous move.
What's Ming do now? Does he sell cars?
I think he's a car salesman somewhere.
He actually just wrestled in Japan.
That's a step
earlier
up.
this year.
What's his... Does he have a son
Yeah,
in
his
New
son
Japan?
Tomatonga is in the Bullet Club and in JWP.
You see what I'm talking about there with his trunks?
Caught a little bit of it.
It's strange. See, Ming was Haku in WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a fallopian tube, isn't it?
It's something. It appears to be lady parts, but we'll just disregard that, or else we'll never get anything else done. I think I can't remember.
I'm just looking at that guy in the sweater that's like not moving and just staring like he's going to kill someone in the crowd.
He's just upset.
He's just staring.
He's
like
a huge
serial
Luger
killer.
fan. Luger's Luger.
Look at him. A guy in the black sweater with the white stripes. He's like, I'm going to kill both.
So yeah, that is a vagina. Yep.
Oh God, were they showing it? I was looking at the guy in the crowd.
Oh, you screwed up. Yeah. See it?
Okay. Well, it's obviously a hand, but
Well,
then
but there's also something else.
far left, the pink part. That's
Oh boy.
that's a lady pouch.
So, Kid Tonga,
yeah,
or the
Tonga.
sorry, the Tonga Kid, I think was his gimmick, like when he was young.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. All right. Talk about him.
Props to the ref there for really selling that he was surprised that Luger
He's like-
wasn't out. I don't know if anyone caught that, but he really,
Like, damn, I really thought Ming was going to take it home with his nerd hold.
really sold it.
So Luger's making his comeback here.
You know,
Yeah, that is okay. Anyways, I'm still looking at the bloody tampon that claw had.
I gotta say from watching some episodes, not that we got to see.
Ooh.
That's nice.
That was kind of botched. I
That
think.
was a botched yet ambitious, like, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker from Ming. I liked it.
Luger,
Anyways.
I'm not saying Luger's a super great technical Bret Hart-like worker, but I remembered Luger being worse than he is. He's entertaining to watch. He can do some moves.
Sometimes he's entertaining for the wrong reasons, though.
Right. But no, he's not as bad as I remembered him being. Although he's just getting the crap kicked out of him by Ming this whole match so far.
We are missing a lot of Mongo's football analogies. I just like to point that out. We're kind of past the point of even pointing those out because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I think we get a USA chant here sometime.
People love America.
Do we know where Luger's from exactly?
He's from Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
That's where his build is being from, yeah. Or the Mullet
Guy in that black sweater. I don't know why. It's just.
He's surly.
He's just like surveying the ring.
He's thinking about doing a run-in.
Doing a what?
Doing a run-in.
Oh, run-in.
He's gonna.
Isn't that the best when fans run in the ring and then like just get
All gimmicks are out the window.
they just get the piss knocked out of
Yeah.
them.
I remember in WWF sometime someone did a run-in. I don't think it ended up. Maybe you guys remember. I don't think it ended up being like a gimmick, and like Vader just like protected the guy.
Really?
Huh.
Just didn't want him to get his ass beat.
Didn't want him to get hurt and just grabs him and holds on to him until security can.
Yeah. Well, like you listen to Flair talk about, like in the 70s,
Yeah.
like if you ran into the ring, like you would literally leave bloodied.
They'd kill
Like,
you.
They would beat you near death
Get a
just
nice-
because they were trying to,
Right.
make it look real at that point. Still,
I do like Ming's offense. I mean, that pile driver earlier, that Samoan drop, it all looks really good. It looks really strong, yet it's safe. And I'm sure he's stiff as hell, but he's still safe.
A lot of hair in the ring.
Has Luger had any offense yet?
A little bit. He made a little bit of a comeback earlier, but got shut down pretty quick.
It's because he's still beat up from that choke slam.
So he whiffs that big boot, so let's do it again. All right. Luger sells his own clothesline.
I think he did that because Ming didn't. He's like, well, what do I got to do now?
It makes Ming look strong.
Yeah. What's he grabbing?
So Ming goes into the trunks for like a spike type thing.
It's a gold-plated utility knife
that he hits Luger with to get the 3. So Ming goes over, albeit not clean, but
from the crowd's perspective, there's nothing there. You don't see
they
what
have
it
no
is.
clue.
They're like, he just punched him.
He just jobbed to a punch for all they know. That's strictly for the TV audience. So that's the main event.
Kind of hype the crowd up.
Yeah, I guess Bischoff's gonna hype Hogan for next week here, and
I never enjoyed how Nitro ended with just them talking.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Apparently, that dog's been euthanized since.
What kind of shirt is Mongo wearing?
Man, I don't.
That's like an Predator. It's like an Affliction polo.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time not just looking at Mongo the whole time.
I don't know.
At least he's got some tinted lenses for his Arn Anderson glasses.
It's true.
All right.
So that's it.
And more explosions.
So is this is the last Nitro before Havoc, right? It's this Sunday.
No, we've got a couple weeks before
Halloween
Havoc.
It's we're still in September.
Yeah,
I was looking
October
at
29th.
Right. We got like a month before Halloween Havoc.
Long ways to go.
Hey,
so we get teased Hogan next week. We get Luger Savage next week. Dean Malenko will make his debut with the company. So, or at least on Nitro for that matter. So let's kind of go around here. What do we take away from this show?
I think I'm happiest about Alex Wright Disco Inferno.
Opener wasn't bad.
I mean,
it was
good match.
Good, solid match. I mean, nothing crazy, but also a very well worked, solid affair.
No, decent hour show.
How long do you guys, if you know, has this Dungeon of Doom Hogan angle been going on?
A while.
Before Nitro.
A while.
Like, it's like all of 95. Like, that's what 95's
that's
thing
is.
That's
an interesting question, because do you know who main evented with Hogan in Starrcade 94?
Starrcade 94. That would have been his first Starrcade. Give me a clue.
There's no way to not give you a clue without giving away.
Kevin Sullivan.
You're close.
Dave Sullivan.
Hogan was in a feud with Kevin Sullivan, and it was before he formed the Dungeon of Doom. He was a member of the Three Faces of Fear.
Three Faces of Fear, yeah.
Which was Kevin Sullivan, Avalanche, which was John Tenta, now Shark, as Avalanche, and the Butcher.
Ed Leslie.
Yeah. Main evented freaking Starrcade with Hogan.
I remember this now reading about it.
That's terrible.
It was Hogan versus the
Hogan
Butcher.
versus Ed Leslie was the main event of Starrcade 94. So it's been going on a while, is my point.
1995 was Hogan versus the Dungeon of Doom.
It may not be the Dungeon of Doom, but some form of Kevin Sullivan's
incarnation
stable.
of Kevin Sullivan's group.
So, we got 4 matches. That's kind of nice. We won't always get that. Some weeks there'll be 3 matches instead of 4.
3 years from now, you don't get 4 matches in 3 hours.
Oh, no. Not even close. So, what do you take away, Zach? Anything you want to point out?
I'm I'm just pumped for Halloween Havoc. I can't wait.
That monster.
The monster trucks, man.
That's going to be awesome.
That's over the top. That's gnarly, bro.
Surely nobody will fall off a building to their certain death.
Surely
and
not.
Come out unscathed.
No.
All right, sports fans. Well, that's it for this week. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of Late to the Nitro Party. Be careful out there.
See you next time. Eat the pudding.